here's one of the precious things that came out of this whole fiasco. So we have a situation where the media misreported this Congressional Budget Office report as saying that 2 million or 2.5 million jobs will be lost by 2024, when in fact it means that 2.5 million workers will decide they don't have to work at that cruddy job anymore to ensure that they get health insurance because they can now afford it on the personal insurance market. So, like I say, most press outlets changed their story. Here's how Politico reported it. The Republicans just got a big gift from the Congressional Budget Office. It's going to be a lot easier for them to call Obamacare a job killer. Remember, it's not killing any jobs. The amount of jobs remains the same. It just means that 2.5 million of them said, take this job and shove it. And they go on to say, that's because the Budget Office new economic report released Tuesday says the healthcare law will cause Americans to work fewer hours. Huh? Enough to be the equivalent of 2 million fewer jobs in 2017. Again, there's not fewer jobs. There's fewer people seeking those jobs. The latest number is nearly 3 times as high as the Budget Office previous prediction, and it's supposed to rise in later years to the equivalent of 2.5 million jobs in 2024. Then the next paragraph, there's a lot of fine print about what those numbers really mean and whether the jobs were, in quote, lost. In fact, CBO says it's in large part about the number of hours people choose to work, not actual job losses. So in other words, you know those 3 paragraphs we just wrote at the top of this piece? Those were absolutely wrong. Here's the real story. And then we'll follow it up with, but what matters politically is how numbers look in attack ads. And in this election year, 2 million lost jobs is a Republican ad maker's dream. So in other words, we've just presented the lie that Republicans are going to tell about these numbers. But we're not saying it's a lie. We're just going to negate everything we've said in the top 3 paragraphs of this story in one paragraph and then revert back to saying, but it's such a good lie that we've helped propagate that it's going to be very effective. That is, if you ever wanted to understand Politico, that's about 90% of what Politico is. The other 10% to understand about Politico is just who's planting this story will give you a sense of what they're trying to do politically. That's basically it. But the first 90%, if you want to understand what Politico is embedded in those first 5 paragraphs of this story. Obamacare and jobs. CBO adds fuel to fire. This could have just as easily been written, and more accurately is, wow, the CBO under-projected the amount of economic freedom Americans are going to have in determining their own destiny as a worker. 2.5 million Americans will be liberated from shitty jobs by 2024. That's a huge winner for Democrats come 2014. That's probably how it should have been written.
When Politico does those articles, they're like the equivalent of the credit rating agencies that clears the bank, basically, for the Republicans. It's like,
That's right.
Here's the bill of health.
That's right. This
Go
is a
do this
legitimate talking point.